It must be hard to have a robot for a mother. I think the hardest part for Brightbill was all the mystery that surrounded Roz. Where had she come from? What was it like to be a robot? Would she always be there for him? These questions filled the Gosling's mind, and his feelings for his mother swung between love and confusion and anger. I'm sure many of you know what that's like. Roz could sense that Brightbill was struggling, and so she spent a lot of time talking with him about families, geese, and robots. There are other robots on the island? Said the Gosling during one of their talks. He'd been sitting beside his mother in the garden, but now stood and faced her. Yes, there are others on the island, said Roz, but they are inoperative. Inoperative? For a robot, being inoperative is like being dead. Where are the dead robots? They are on the northern shore. I want to see them. I don't think that's a good idea. Why not? You are still a Gosling. You are too young to see dead robots. I will take you to see them when you are older. Mama, I'm not a Gosling anymore. Brightbill puffed out his chest. I'm already 4 months old. I am sorry, said Roz, but you cannot go. Brightbill stomped around the garden and squawked, This isn't fair. I promise I will take you to see them when you are older, said the robot. But I want to go now. Please calm down. You can't even fly. I could take off and you wouldn't be able to stop me. Roz stood and her long shadow fell across her son. The Gosling could feel his emotions swinging wildly. And for a moment he was actually afraid of his own mother. Without thinking, he sprinted toward the pond, beat his wings, and flew away. Chapter 44, The Runaway. Your son will be fine, said Loudwing. You know how they are at this age. I do not know, said Roz. Please tell me how they are at this age. Oh, right. Well, Brightbill is growing up fast. It's only natural for adolescent goslings to be little, moody. He just needs to be alone for a while. You've raised a wonderful son. I know he'll come home soon. Try not to worry. But Roz did worry. At least, she worried as much as a robot is capable of worrying. Brightbill had never run away or flown away, and suddenly Roz was computing all the things that could go wrong. A violent storm, a broken wing, a predator. She had to find her son before something bad had happened. There was only one place Brightbill could have gone. The robot gravesite. So Roz galloped northward. She leaped over rocks and ducked over branches and charged through meadows without ever slowing her pace. She raced all the way across the island until she finally stepped onto the sea cliffs above the gravesite. And there was Brightbill, perched on the edge, looking at the robot parts scattered on the shore below. His eyes were wet. Don't be angry, he said as his mother walked over. I am not angry, but you should not have flown off like that. You could have gotten hurt or worse. I was worried sick. I'm sorry, Mama. It's okay, said Roz. It's only natural for goslings your age to be a little moody. Mama, need to understand what you are. And I think it might help to see those other robots. You are right. It might help. Why are you not down there? I was about to go, said Brightbill, but I got nervous. I want you to go with me. Let's go down there, said Roz, together. Chapter 45, The Dead Robots. The gosling floated on the breeze beside his mother as she climbed down the cliffside. Down they went, past ledges and seagulls and tough little trees, until they were standing on the rocky shore with the cliffs looming behind them. The grape site had changed. Roz's crate was gone, lost to weather or waves. Some of the robot parts were gone too. Other parts were gritty with sand or were tangled in seaweed or were inhabited by small scuttling creatures. One smashed torso still had a head and legs attached. Roz and Brightbill huddled around the corpse and studied the mess of tubes spilling out. This thing used to look like you? Said Brightbill. Yes, we are all the same type of robot, said Roz. And now the robot's dead? In a way. Will you ever die, Mama? I think so. Will I die? All living things die eventually. The gosling's face scrunched with worry. Brightbill, you are going to live a long and happy life. Roz laid a hand on her son's back. You should not worry about death. The gosling's face relaxed, and then he pointed to a small round shape on the back of the dead robot's head. What's that? He said. Roz leaned in closer. That is a button, which is a knob on a piece of machinery that can be pressed to operate it. Brightbill began pressing the button. Click, click, click. Nothing's happening, he said. Probably because this robot is dead. Click, click, click. Mama, do you have a button? Brightbill watched as his mother's head turned all the way around and a small button became into view. You've got one, he said. I've never noticed it before. Neither did I, said the robot. The gosling giggled. Oh, Mama, you have so much to learn about yourself. Roz reached for the button on her head, but her hand automatically stopped before she could touch it. She tried with her other hand, but it automatically stopped as well. It seems I cannot press the button, she said. Would you like to try it? What would happen? I think that I would shut down. But I think you could simply press the button again to restart me. You think? Squawked Brightbill. What if you're wrong? What if you wake up different? What if you never wake up? Mama, I don't want to shut you down. Roz turned her head back around and saw that Brightbill's face was once again scrunched with worry. She knelt beside him and said, Of course you do not have to shut me down. I am sorry if I scared you. Are you okay? I'm okay. Brightbill sniffled and wiped his eyes, and then he heard splashing. Otters were playing in the ocean. He had never seen otters before. He stared as they swam and dove and sloshed around with one another. They seemed to be having a ridiculous amount of fun, and suddenly the gosling was smiling again. Hello, my name is Brightbill, he shouted out over the waves, And this is my mama. Her name is Roz." The last time those otters had seen Roz, they had thought she was some kind of monster. But since then, they had heard that she was remarkably friendly and that she had even adopted an orphaned gosling. And so the others smiled at Roz and Brightbill. Then they swam straight over and splashed onto the rocks. "Hello there," said the biggest otter. "Nice to meet you both." "Actually, Roz, we've met once before, but you might not remember me. My name's Shelley." "I do remember you," said the robot, "but I'm glad to learn your name, Shelley." "You know each other?" said the gosling. "These otters were the first animals I ever met," said Roz. "They were also the first animals who ever ran away from me." "Yeah, sorry about that," said Shelley as the other otters sniffed the robot's legs. "You know, Brightbill, when we first saw your mom, she was packed in a box surrounded by soft, squishy stuff." Brightbill's brow furrowed. You wouldn't believe how small she looked, all folded up in there. Brightbill's nose sniffled. "We thought she was dead, but when we reached into the box, she came to life and climbed out looking like a sparkling monster." Brightbill's eyes welled up with tears, and then he felt his mother scoop him into her arms. "Are you okay?" she whispered in his ear. "I think I've learned enough about robots for today," he whispered back. "I'm sorry, otters," said Roz, "but we really must be going." "I hope I didn't upset the little guy," said Shelley. "I thought he'd like to hear how we first met." "Brightbill will be fine," said Roz, using a friendly voice. "But we've had a very busy day, and we should go home. It was nice to see you again. Goodbye." Roz turned, and with her long strides she carried her son away from the gravesite and over to the base of the sea cliffs. "Would you like to sit on my shoulder as I climb?" said the robot. "I feel like flying," said the gosling. "I'll meet you at the top." Brightbill flapped his wings and disappeared into the sky. Roz began scaling up the wall. As she went, expertly negotiating rocky columns and ledges until she hoisted herself onto the cliff top, where two young bears were waiting.